Right, it's Thursday the 28th of February. It's 3:45. I have been messing about all day and got nowhere at all. I'll tell you about that in another video because it's really mind-boggling. But what I wanted to do this morning at 8 o'clock was apply some wax coating on the inside of the chassis, some anti-corrosive. This is the stuff I'm using. This, where can you see it there? This April stuff, I buy it in 20-litre pails. It's the most economical thing to do. So why haven't I got it done? Well, my boiler went a bit bonkers, so I had to fix that. But anyway, I had to go downtown because replace my hole saws. And what I did was, this is the existing one. I use this one on my clutch fork, but I wanted a smaller one to do some holes on the side of the chassis, which I'll show you in a minute. Because I'm using this pressure sprayer to poke this tube, this one here, inside the chassis. It just clips on with a little O-ring there. It's a nice little clip. Is it an O-ring? Oh no, the O-ring's on the other side. Now, it was supposed to have a nozzle on here that sprayed 360 degrees. However, when pulling it out of the chassis once on another job, the end came off. So, not to be deterred, I simply put a piece of screw in the end and cut the head off. And I don't know if you can see very carefully, I just got a hot pin and poked holes all the way around it. It's actually even better than it was before. Now, I have no room at all to work in here, but this is kind of long. So if you can imagine, what I've done is I've drilled a hole in the chassis so that when this line goes through, all you have to do is flip it at the other end, and then when you come to the other end, flip it there. So you're not drilling holes all over the place. But in my opinion, there's not enough holes in the Land Rover chassis to do it properly, because you can't get your lance in at sort of 90 degrees. Another one I've got is this one. This is for spraying the outsides. This is really nice little piece of kit because you can really sort of get in there. So what was the trouble? Let me show you. Now, I'm not sure if you can see very clearly, but I drilled a little 3/4 hole here only to find the chassis has lots of mud in it. So I've got to think fast, Father Ted. And so what I did was I put a 3/4 inch hole in here and one at the very far end. Let me go and show you. I'll just take the camera off to show you. So there's the other hole, just behind the exhaust. The bolt hole in front there, that goes onto your towing bracket, so I didn't want to put anything there. But I wanted to keep the holes kind of small. The other hole I did here. This was 1 inch. Now I did them on the side rather than underneath because these chassis are pressed. They're not seam welded like the older ones or the replacement ones. And drilling through 2 layers of metal at the top of here with a seam weld was really difficult, you know, and this also makes it a lot easier to get in. So now I can poke the lance up this way for this side, and then once this is out I can poke it up this side. You see what I mean? So you don't have to drill a load of holes everywhere. Anyway, let's go back to the front and I'll show you what I intend to do. I'm just not into this today at all. You know, one of them days you get really pissed off. This is one of them. So I've got a 3/4 inch pipe fitting on this brass adapter that attaches to the hose pipe here. Well, I'm saying it does. Yes, it does. Hurrah! I'd be buggered if it didn't. I'm going to screw this into the chassis at the front and turn the tap on. Now that could be fun. I don't know how I'm actually going to get the camera because honestly I've got no room at the moment. But let me get this in and I'll show you how it fits. I hope it fits. Right, I've got the hose pipe on. I hope I've got a decent angle here. Now I'm going to switch it on. I'm just going to move this airline out of the way. Let's switch it on and see what we can come up with. There is no point waxing a car inside if it's got mud in it. Now I'm fortunate I've got a heated floor here, and I'm fortunate I've got a drain in the floor, so I can do all this on the inside. Let's put a bit more water in this. Doesn't look much, does it? But you can see it all coming out the holes now, you see. Look at that. More water. You can tell we're not on a water meter here. Actually, there might not be all that much mud in it. Might be just a little bit. Actually, it's not looking bad, is it? Problem with Land Rover chassis is it gets mud in, but it can't get it out. Oh, I'm quite pleased with that. Well, that's flat out. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to plug up those holes so that the water can be pushed right to the back of the chassis. Now again, I'm not bothered too much about this because the chassis will dry in here overnight. It's like 22 degrees in here, so it'll dry out really good. So let me get some plugs. We'll plug that up and we'll see if we can poke it out the back. Ah, that's better. Look at all that coming out of there. You see, the holes are too high up, look. That's why I drilled them in the side, so I just put a plug underneath. You can see the water pouring out now. This is coming from a hole down here. That's easy, gets plugged up. What we can do is just unplug this one, drop the level down a bit, see if there's any sand runs out. Nothing. Let's plug it up again. There we go. We didn't get right down to the back cross member. I'm not surprised really. But I'm quite pleased that it's washing everything out. I think that's good enough. So it wasn't all that bad after all. A bit sandy, but now I'm going to swap the hose here and put it at the back. Well, as you can see here, there's no sand or mud in that back corner. It's absolutely gushing out, so that's a good sign. Yeah, that's alright, that's what we wanted to see. So I think this chassis is fine. I'm going to do the other side. There's no point filming both sides. But then we'll leave it to dry and then we'll come back and do the undercoating or the rust proofing of the inside of this chassis, but only when it's dry. Just before we go, the reason why I put a 1-inch hole in here, a 25mm hole, is I can now put my power wash in. And the reason why I didn't do the power wash straight away is that I wanted to soften up that mud or dirt that was in there, because if you just power wash inside a chassis, you know, drill a hole and skip over the top, that's all it does, it skips over the top of the dust. It's amazing to see. So we've left the water soak for an hour and it's a bit mucky. You can see by the floor. Well, let's keep washing. We can wash this right to the front. You may be wondering how I managed to get in the chassis with it. Well, I bent the end of one of these lances, and it gets right in there. you know. We won't get into the back one too much, but let's see what somebody's done. That's not too bad. Let's go to the front. Oh, I've lost my nozzle. Might have to have a rethink on this. My little nozzle went inside the chassis and that's gone. So there you go. That's a bit of dirt out. Got washed quite a bit. A lot of it has got washed down the drain. The guy who did my floor made a hell of a bad job. Made it, the drain's over there and he made it lowest spot here. I was very angry with that. Anyway, not too bothered about that now. It's all done. It's all nice and clean, so that can now dry over the next few days, and then we can apply some rust proofing. I think that'll make a nice job. But like I say, I mean, there wasn't as much dirt in it as I thought actually, but I have had these chassis absolutely packed up to the top here in mud. So I mean, now there's no excuses for putting a probe in there and spraying it with wax every couple of years. No excuses at all. So I hope you like that. That was just a little bit of a messing about. But if you don't do a job properly, well, there's no point doing it all, is there? But not a lot of people have got facilities to lift a car up and wash it out properly. They just wash off the chassis on the outside and neglect the inside. I'll tell you what, to finish this video, I'll show you a picture of what happens to chassis because they corrode inside, and why it's super important on Land Rover chassis to wax them, because they do corrode from the inside, and that's why I don't mind drilling holes in the chassis, let some air in, get it round and get it circulated. Alright, that's enough from me. I'm going for a Mr. J. See ya.